Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the RM of Prince Albert Candidates Forum. I am Nigel Maxwell, Senior Reporter with PA Now, and I get to be your moderator for the evening. Of course, Election Day, November 9th, coming up fast. RM of PA has a number of very great candidates. We look forward to hearing from them tonight. On behalf of the Prince Albert District Chamber of Commerce, again, thank you for joining us this evening. First and foremost, we should acknowledge that the land in which we gather is Treaty 6 territory, home of the Prince Albert Grand Council and the homeland of the Métis Nation. This forum is being live streamed, of course, on the Chamber's Facebook and YouTube pages, where you can enter questions for candidates. Please subscribe and like or share right now so others can watch too. Additionally, questions may be sent by text to 306-961-3333. Once again, that's 906-961-3333. That little number going across the bottom of your screen right now. Our thanks again to GL Mobile for once again providing that text line for us. Tonight, we welcome the candidates who have put their name forward to run for Reeve and Council in the RM of Prince Albert. We're joined by Reeve incumbent Eric Schmaltz, Division 3 incumbent Barton France, and challengers Guy St. Hilaire and Alan Novotny, as well as Division 5 candidate Colin Sheldon. Reeve candidate Wayne Acorn and Division 5 candidate Debbie Acorn declined our invitation tonight to take part. Now, in the first segment, the Reeve candidate will be allowed a 2-minute opening statement. We'll then be asking a set of questions, after which we'll have 1 minute to summarize. Council candidates will each have 1 minute to introduce themselves and their vision for the RM. They'll also be asked a series of questions too, with 1 minute to summarize at the end of it all. Candidates will be allowed up to 90 seconds to answer each question. A yellow card will be held up on the screen. Eric, if you're stepping out of line, this is for you. And then, of course, that red card when your time is expired at the end. The order of speaking will rotate for each question, so we won't put too much pressure on you tonight. And because only one candidate for Division 5 is available for tonight, he'll be inducted in the segment with the Division 3 candidates. Now, with the interest of viewers in mind, there will be no direct debate tonight, just to keep things running along faster. Please feel free, though, again, welcome to ask your questions online or via that text line at the bottom of the screen. We ask your questions and comments be respectful. Any inappropriate content will be deleted. With that, let's get the forum opened up. Eric, you got 2 minutes. Introduce yourself.
Thank you, Nigel. Good evening, everyone. My name is Eric Schmaltz, and I'm seeking re-election as Reeve in the RM of Prince Albert. Since my election last year, I've been working diligently with Council to implement the campaign platform I put forward at that time. The platform included continued investment in infrastructure, a concerted effort to boost public safety, and a strategic approach to bolstering economic development within the RM. In my short time serving as your Reeve, we have invested in infrastructure like never before, forming a partnership with the provincial government to repave roads in our existing commercial developments in order to attract further investment in that sector. We have engaged with our community and residents by assisting in the formation of a Citizens on Patrol group to hinder the ability for criminals to exploit our community. We have undertaken pilot projects and assisted community groups in accessing funding for local improvements, all in an effort to improve the quality of life for the residents and ratepayers in the RM. Strong fiscal management has allowed us not only to stave off any property tax increases, but also allowed us to extend the tax discount periods in response to COVID-19. In my role as Reeve, I have worked with Council to ensure we are consistently improving accessibility and communication with the public, either through social media or our revamped website. We continue to review, update, and create policies to help ensure a consistent and expedient delivery of services to you, our residents and ratepayers. I would like to thank the Prince Albert District Chamber of Commerce for hosting these series of forums, as I feel it is especially important for people to hear from the candidates vying to be their elected representatives. I'm happy to be engaging with you all tuning in here this evening and look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Eric. With that, we start our questions. Now, during COVID, many municipalities have come up with ways to help their businesses survive. What have you done, or what could you do in the future to provide tangible support to your farm and other RM businesses to get through COVID?
Well, as I said in my opening remarks, we've received funding through the COVID Relief Fund, actually, through the provincial government. I believe it was the provincial government, which allowed us to not only extend but complete the year with the tax discounts in place. We were prepared ourselves to finance or shoulder the burden that the costs for having the tax discounts extended from June or July until October 31st. And once we received that extra funding, we extended that even further into December and the end of the year 2020.
Okay. Construction and maintenance of roadways has been obviously a big issue for the RM as well as adjacent RMs, and creating in many situations an uncomfortable driving experience for residents and visitors with a negative impact on businesses in the area. Question 2, Eric, what are your thoughts on negotiating agreements regarding roads, equipment sharing, and other potential mutual benefit situations with the City of Prince Albert and other RMs?
Well, actually, we've reached out on several occasions to our partners, our municipal partners in the area and the region. We are working on a few joint infrastructure projects. We've done a joint venture or partnership with the provincial government already on the Highway 2 corridor on these 2 service roads where the city had created new pavement up to their border. We continued that new pavement with an investment of our own in partnership with the provincial government and completed that project fully. So those type of things that we take on, we're constantly reviewing possibilities. We're taking into account individual concerns of our ratepayers, making sure that they are pleased and happy with their services they receive from us as far as construction of new infrastructure, road rebuilding, and the like. Any
specific roads you've been hearing about as like big concerns, or?
For us, 48th Street, which is a shared road with the RM and the City of Prince Albert. We've looked at a possible joint venture on that. We're in talks with the city to possibly look at a joint venture, which would include an investment monetarily from both parties to ensure that road is fully capable of handling the traffic that it's currently seeing. We have an incredible burden on the road south of 48th Street, which is Elevator Road. It's a connector road between Highway 2 and Highway 3. We receive funding to repair and maintain that road, but it is a long road. It's quite a bit longer, and it requires a lot more maintenance in that respect. So for us to be able to work with the city, possibly on 48th Street, and relieve some of the pressure that is put by heavy truck traffic on not only Elevator Road in the RM of Prince Albert, but also on Marquis Road in Prince Albert. That would be a mutually beneficial thing that I would like to see happen, and I would like to pursue it with the City of Prince Albert.
Okay, well, we'll move on now and talk about unsightly properties. I know there's been bylaws talked about at the council level. Over the last term, the issue of unsightly properties in the RM has been reported in the media and discussed by council. Can you describe the status of any related bylaws implemented or whether they've been effective?
Typically, we try to work with residents. We're not here to bring an iron fist down on anybody. These are just properties that become what we would call less standard than what we would like to see in the RM. Typically are reported to us. We're not out there hunting for these properties. This is just something that people have brought to our attention, and we give a lot of leeway for people to be able to bring that property back into a standard that is aesthetically pleasing, not only aesthetically pleasing to the RM, but also safe for residents and free from infestation by rodent or any other invasive species of pest. We want to be able to work with people. We're not here, like I said, we're not here to simply drop the hammer on everyone. This is something that is in need of updating, that was not clear or concise in its previous iteration. We're trying to update our policies as we go along, and this is one of them.
Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the PA RETA. They've been negotiating and talking with the councils of late. RM of Prince Albert is part of that Prince Albert Regional Economic Alliance, which was established in March of 2019. Has the RM been able to attract any new projects or proposals, either on its own or through the alliance?
I can't. Obviously, there's a few things on the horizon that I'm not able to share at this moment. We are looking at partnerships with developers to create, shall we say, a commercial development to attract these types of businesses. There are businesses that are inquiring. I fielded calls myself personally from businesses within the city and from the other areas looking to expand into the RM of Prince Albert. Obviously, the RM, our sister RM, who we work very closely with, the RM of Buckland, has had a very vibrant and well-developed, well-established commercial development, commercial area for businesses to be able to set up in. And so when we, there's a little jealousy there when we see the big developments moving north of the river. We congratulate them though at the same time, and we'd love to see development coming into this region in any way, shape, or form. We would like to keep a piece of that in our RM, and we're going to work towards that as well.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those big developments that are happening north of the city, in the city. We're talking about incentives. What can the RM do to provide some incentives to bring new industries to the RM of PA?
Well, the first thing out of the gate, and it's really basic, is a tax incentives. Whether it be a rolling or sliding scale for taxes, 0 the first year, 25% of the total, and working your way up. I've heard those ideas floated. The other ones are a complete tax write-off for up to 5 years. These are just ideas. Now, we haven't. We're still in the process of developing these plans and methods for being able to attract business to the RM. First, what we need to do is ensure that we are able to provide land and service land for businesses to be able to build and reside in our RM. Those things are discussions that I want to continue to have with council and with experts in those fields.
Speaking with councils, big projects planned for the city of Prince Albert coming up. We know about the hospital. A lot of talk about that parcel of land on the southeast side of the city now as well. Also been some talk from the mayor and council about sharing the costs with the RM through a levy or some kind of cost sharing. What's your stance on this?
Look, I'm open to discussions of any kind. I mean, I don't close the door on or dismiss out of hand any proposal that is sent our way. We've got, we're open to working with our partners. Obviously, our residents are going to benefit greatly from a new hospital in the region. And we're thankful and happy to hear it coming. These things are important. For decades, our residents have had to travel, hours away to try and seek treatment for ailments and illnesses. And now with a new regional healthcare center that's going to be much larger and much more capable of accommodating those things, we're not opposed to any type of proposal from any of our neighbors.
Okay, one last question for you, Eric, and then you're off the hook here for tonight. So during the election, the NDP, we heard a lot about money promises, and Sask Party was talking about tightening the belts and balancing the budget. As the Reeve for the RM of PA, would you be concerned about the province tightening their belts and what that might mean for the RM, and what could you do as Reeve to keep the economy flourishing?
Well, obviously, whenever there's economies to be made and as you say, tightening the belt, those things are done out of necessity. What we can do locally is ensure that we can maintain our tax rates at the level they currently are, and do very, very small increases when we can. These taxes are never popular, and they are a big part of the cost to residing and working in the RM of Prince Albert or doing business in the RM of Prince Albert, as they are in any municipality. So what we can do as a individual RM is ensure that our ratepayers are getting value for dollar, making sure that the taxes that we are charging for the services we provide are comparable. We're not looking to start a massive tax increase in any time during a pandemic, that's for sure.
Okay, Eric, that concludes our question part of it. You have 1 minute now to summarize your platform and what you would bring to the voters.
All right. The challenges we all continue to face from this pandemic seem daunting, That is why good governance and stewardship must continue in the RM. I will continue to advocate for the RM at every level and work to forge new partnerships with industry to help bolster and broaden our tax base. I will continue to work to improve public engagement and ensure fair and equitable treatment for everyone. I will continue to grow and nurture relationships with our neighboring municipalities and partners within the Prince Albert Regional Economic Development Alliance. In closing, I would like to remind everyone that the mail-in ballots are still available at the RM of Prince Albert at 99 River Street, East Prince in the city. I would also like to remind everyone that the advance polls will be open October 31st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. and the general election will be held on November 9th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. I humbly ask that all eligible residents and ratepayers in the RM exercise their democratic right that so many have sacrificed their lives to protect. Please vote to continue moving our community forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, Eric. All the best.
Thank you.
So at this time, we're going to take a 90-second break and come back with our division candidates for the RM of Prince Albert. Welcome back to the RM of Prince Albert Candidates Forum, hosted by the Prince Albert District Chamber of Commerce with their awesome coffee mugs. Gentlemen, how are you all?
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Okay. Well,
Good, thank
now
you.
we've heard from Reeve Eric Schmaltz, our Reeve candidate. Now we're going to be approaching our division candidates. As mentioned at the beginning of the forum, we'll actually have our Division 3 candidates as well as Colin Sheldon from Division 5 in the mix as well. Gentlemen, I'm going to give you each 1 minute to introduce yourselves and what you're all about. Barton, we'll start with you. So we're just gonna come back to you, Barton. Okay, we're just having a few little Wi-Fi glitches there. We'll just give a chance to refresh. Okay, Alan, if you don't mind, we'll let you kick things off here. We'll come back to Barton here.
Okay, sounds good. Hello, my name is Alan Novotny. I was born and raised in Prince Albert. I have lived in the RM of Prince Albert for the past 7 years. I've worked 25 years for Correctional Service of Canada as a correctional officer. I understand the importance of reducing rural crime in our community. With my background in corrections, I feel I can help. The RM of Prince Albert is a very diverse, with a strong farming community, growing in industrial sector, and growth in residential housing. I'm a respectable, hardworking family man who understands the importance of honesty, integrity, reliability, being equitable, and most important, your voice. I would love the opportunity to represent you and any concerns that you may have in Division 3. I will make myself available to take any calls, texts, emails, Facebook contacts. I hope I can count on you for your support in the upcoming election on November 9th.
Thank you, Alan. Guy, we'll go to you next. 1 minute.
Hi, good evening, and kudos for all of you for staying safe. My name is Guy Saint-Hilaire. I was born and raised in the RM Division 3 pretty much all my life. I've been here for about 60 years, and I've raised my kids here, and I've worked for the Correctional Center for over 35 years, so I've got a good experience in that, and I've sat on many boards over the years, organizing events, and I've raised $19,000 for the Rose Garden Hospice on a snowmobile race rally that I brought in last year in Prince Albert and all that. And I'm a local business.
Thank you, Guy. Okay. Now we bring back Barton. Sorry about that, Barton. Our Wi-Fi issues, I think, are good now. So you got 1 minute. We seem to be having a few stalling.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Now?
there you go. Okay, there you are, Barton.
Oh, I'm Barton France. I'm Division 3 counselor for the past 4 years. Year, which has been.
I'm sorry, Barton. We're having some issues hearing you, and I don't want you to come across as all having too many difficulties. So, Colin, Division 5 candidate for the RM, if you wouldn't mind, 1 minute.
Hey, good evening. My name's Colin Sheldon. I'm a candidate for Division 5 in the RM of Prince Albert. I too have been born and raised in the RM of PA, lived here all my life. We ran our family farm here for many years. We were in the dairy and we grew grain, and then we quit milking cows. And then I worked for Corrections Canada as well as continued the grain farm. I did that for 27 years. Now I'm retired from that, and I've got extra time and the desire to run for council. I bring experience from the past because I was the councillor for Division 5 for 2 terms back in the 1980s. So I have some insight and knowledge to what takes place to be an RM councillor. And I certainly look forward to the opportunity to be the councillor for Division 5 again.
Great, Colin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We seem to have. Okay, we're gonna bring Barton back again, and we're gonna give him a chance to talk. And so I think what we're gonna do here is move on to the question period part of it. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in tonight. And I want to remind any of the public that has questions for our candidates, don't be shy about texting the line, 306-961-3333. Ask these gentlemen anything you like. Well, I'm saying, yeah. Okay, so first question, and we'll start with you, Guy, on this one. What is the #1 issue or concern facing the RM today, in your opinion, and how do you feel it should be approached? You got 90 seconds.
I think everyone's individual issues and concerns are going to be important to them. And collectively, we as the RM have issues with maintenance and infrastructure, such as signs, roads, and flooding. Obviously, big issues comes with the crime and the crime prevention. Whenever the concerns or issues, I will look with you at the RMs and local authorities and with the RCMP, bylaw officers, whatever it takes to address all you guys' concerns. It's very important to me to make everybody happy and be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Alan, your response next.
I think I believe Guy said it very well. Each one of us has different concerns in the RM, so each different individuals will have different concerns. So if you're in if you're a farmer, you may have certain concerns, whether it's accessibility for your equipment. If you're sometimes residential people, or their concerns are tax versus services, the cost of taxation, keeping them in check. A lot of times we have issues with right now there's a lot of economic issue in our province where with the pandemic's created issues. The RM has been great on holding off keeping the reduction of our taxes, the discount running forward for longer, which has been very nice, very, very good of them. But we do higher taxes, and cost of living is tough. So if we can try and keep them in check and reasonable for people, it would, like I said, due to the pandemic and job losses through the resource prices, resources in our province are down, and so there has been a lot of job loss. So those are some of the issues that face the RM.
Thank you, Alan. Barton, welcome back again. I'm not sure if you heard the question, so I'm gonna give it to you again here. What is the number one issue or concern facing the RM today, in your opinion, and how do you feel it should be approached?
Okay. Well, I suppose most people are concerned about roads and the conditions of the roads and the taxes they properties. So I would probably say that's the biggest issues, keeping the taxes affordable for everybody, and keeping the roads in good shape too.
Thank you, Barton. Colin, Division 5, what is your response?
The issues facing the RM today, and we have different issues that affect different people. We've got farmers, we've got people in small holdings, we've got businesses. But at the end of the day, the number one thing is money, and that's money is taxes, and the RM has to be diligent in seeing to it that the tax dollar is spent wisely, and that basically we're doing the best job we can for the ratepayer.
Thank you, Colin. Second question, gentlemen. RM residents report that internet connectivity often impedes their ability to do business online, as well as other online family activities. The Agricultural Producers Association of Saskatchewan has a new rural connectivity task force that's trying to improve internet and cellular coverage in rural Saskatchewan. First part of the question, are you familiar with this group? And second part, are you willing to work with them to improve those services? Alan, we'll go to you first.
Hello, I kind of did a little bit of research on it, but the APAS launched its task force, and they've been running since September 20th, and they're running to January 2021. So it's led by producers in the province trying to access the province, trying to get better internet and cellular service in rural Saskatchewan. There is a bit of a rural service is not as good as municipal service at this time, so there's a bit of a lapse, and they're trying to work on that. And I'd be really willing to help if I could get on that, try and help improve those services for our people in the RRM to have better internet, better cell coverage, those type things. There already is some things in process. There's a cell tower going up. So that's, like I said, I'd be willing to help and research it some more.
Great, thanks, Alan. Barton, your opinions on this?
Go ahead. What was the question?
I'll ask a question. Yeah, it relates perfectly to what's going on here tonight. So We're talking
Okay.
about internet connectivity, how it impedes your ability to be online, both for business and for family, personal. APAS has a new rural connectivity task force that's trying to improve the internet and cellular coverage in rural Saskatchewan. I ask a question: are you familiar with this group? And two, are you willing to work with them to improve these services? We may have to come back to
I'm
Barton
not
again.
sure if you, but you know, I'm kind of supportive if we do have better internet connection and better cell service. And there is a cell tower it was just built on my property here. So hopefully that'll help out the area here to have better cell service and data. So hopefully, being not too far from Prince Albert here, we should have a fairly good, we should be in pretty good shape for the area. I hope now, once the tower gets working here.
Okay, thank you, Barton. Colin, we move on to you next.
Yeah, the APAS, or the Agriculture Produce Association of Saskatchewan, is something that I'm very much aware of as being farming in the past. Organizations like that, I tried to stay in touch with them and see what they had to offer. So this task force, I did a little research on it as well, and I think definitely cell service and internet is that's the way we live nowadays. So many people have got rid of landlines. They depend on the cell phones. Farmers, when it comes to the internet, you need that nowadays. You can't live without it. So definitely, it needs to be improved. And I think we're in not too bad a shape in the Prince Albert area. But as I look at the map of APAS, I can see where in Saskatchewan there's need for a lot of work. But as technology changes, we need improvement. So I certainly would be willing to work towards improving cell service and internet service in the Prince Albert area for the ratepayers of the Arm of Prince Albert.
Thank you, Colin. And Guy, you wrap up this question for us.
Yes, obviously, you know, I'm not aware of the companies that are coming in. However, I do, being online, especially during these times, is more important than ever. I would be willing to work with whichever company or services that comes to the RMs to help improve the lives of the taxpayers who lives within the RM. I know that the tower was recently put up in my area, or our area, and I'm looking forward to see it up and running. Thank you.
Thank you, Keith. Gentlemen, our next topic is crime, specifically, of course, rural crime. If elected, what would your suggestions be to best address resident and business owners' concerns related to crime and crime prevention? This time we'll start with Colin.
Well, when it comes to crime and crime prevention, I think your rural crime watch organizations are very important. I think that everybody should have some involvement with the Rural Crime Watch organization. I think there's a lot to be learned. I know I've been to some of the meetings, not all of them, but you know, there is where you get your information. If you've got questions, you know, you can ask them there. You can contact the executive of the Crime Watch committee in your local area at any time, and they can direct you to, you know, to people that with the police or whoever to give you the right information if you have a concern. And the big thing is, I think at home, you need to know your neighbors. You need to be aware of your situation surrounding your neighborhood and work with everybody. And I think that the RM needs to promote that and work with the Rural Crime Watch organizations in the area.
Thank you, Colin. Barton, next response is yours.
think if people, you have to kind of, for crime, I mean, it's pretty difficult to prevent it because it seems to happen, but like crime watch groups are a good thing if you belong to it. And I don't know, what else you can do really is if you have a security system. I suppose there's only so much a person can do, but hopefully if people kind of work together and look out for each other, they can prevent it from happening.
Thank you, Barton. Guy, next response goes to you.
Okay, people work hard for their homes and their property, and they need help protecting them. I think we need to work with the RM, the local authorities, the RCMP, community crime watch organizations to help the crime within our RM. I would be willing to bring forward any suggested in order to tackle and increase the rate, the crime rate in our area. We need to work together as someone, look out for each other. Like, we all know who our neighbors are and what they drive and everything else. And we got to stick together as a group. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Alan, final response.
I do believe it's a huge concern, and I do believe that we could approach it by possibly, I know some things have been tried in the past, but we could maybe look at hiring some bylaw officers to work in conjunction. Batteries run low. In conjunction with the some of the groups that have going on right now. Like, I know there's a 302 Facebook page for Division 1 and 2, or I believe that they're working. They talk about vehicles that are out there. Citizens on Patrol. There was talk. Eric talked about Citizens on Patrol. I'd be willing to assist in that. To help champion this if I can. Coming from my division, where I believe the my experience is through working in corrections. I know Eric as an RCMP. A lot of these work with the community and with citizens and try and come to slow down the crime rate.
Great. Thank you, Alan. We move on to our fourth question.
Thanks.
Do you believe the RM is able to communicate effectively with ratepayers? If not, what further steps could be taken to improve communication and transparency? Barton will give you the first response as the incumbent. Just get you to unmute yourself there, Barton. Oh, we may have lost Mr. Franz there. So what we're going to do is we'll move on to Guy then instead for this question. Talking about transparency with ratepayers, Guy, what's your solution to it?
The RM is attempting to communicate with the ratepayers. However, I feel that more can be done. If I was elected, I would bring forward your concerns and follow through from start to finish. This would include follow-ups and resolutions. And I think of being more transparent and open is always beneficial. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Alan, we'll move on to you next on this question.
RM is working hard at communicating with ratepayers and through their website, their Facebook page. I do believe that they're doing a fairly good job at it. I think it's good to see minutes and things like that published. I also do believe that not everybody is on the technical side, so I do believe if we could send a monthly newsletter with updates on, so that some people that aren't on Facebook or going onto the RM webpage would have access to this information. But I think it's not hard to add that to it. We have a mail list. The RM has a mailing address. I do believe it creates more work for the admin staff, but it'd be nice to help keep people informed.
Alan, we'll go back to you here, Barton. Thank you, Alan. Barton, talking about communication with ratepayers, what can we do to improve things?
Well, I think the web page is a good start, and like a bit of a newsletter that goes up with your tax notice. That's something that people do look at too. So I'm not sure what else the RM could do, but the web page is probably the main thing.
Thank you, Barton. And Colin, we'll wrap up with you.
I feel that the RM is doing a good job of communicating with the ratepayers. As the others have said, the web page is wonderful. I look at it from time to time. You know, they're on Facebook. Minutes are available on the website. At one time, I know if you wanted the minutes, you had to go in and pay for them, and you would get them mailed to you after every meeting. But now it's there for everybody. There's no cost. We just get on our computer and we can access all that. And along with that, the councillors, their names, the divisions they represent, their phone numbers, their email address, that's all on there. So certainly I feel council's accessible that way, and they're communicating, as well as the newsletter that comes out. But nevertheless, there's always room for improvement.
Great. Thank you, Colin. 2 questions left there, gentlemen. We got one submitted from the chamber, and we got one from our local residents. Again, if there's anybody out there watching, please text the line 961-3333. Ask these gentlemen any question about the RM, anything, concerns that are on your mind. Now's your chance to do it. Gentlemen, question number 5. Do you feel the RM is doing enough to attract additional industry to the RM? If not, do you have some suggestions for improvement? This time we'll start with you, Guy.
Oh, I think the RM is doing enough to attract additional industry to the RM. However, more is always better. Therefore, I'd be able to withstand, then I would welcome it. Development and improvement promotes growth and spending. But there needs to be a line drawn between residential and commercial. Thank you.
Next question, answer goes to you, Alan.
I do feel that the RM is doing enough to attract industry. I do believe they're looking at other options, things like tax incentives to help attract. I do believe that paving that service road, that kind of helps that corridor of business for the RM. I think the attraction of the lower taxes for business to move from Prince Albert to the RM is something that could be visited possibly to help promote industry coming out to the RM. But I do agree with Guy in that it's important to have private and industry and keep that, satisfy the people that live here, the farming industry, that type, because the farming industry is a big industry in the RM of Prince Albert. We have a very sizable RM, and there's a lot of farm industry going on. So I think we want to keep that if we can, and thanks a lot.
Thank you, Alan. Colin, we move to you.
Well, when it comes to attracting industry to our area, I think they're doing a good job, but the thing is, we can never do too much. The one nice thing is the RM of Prince Albert is adjacent to the city of Prince Albert, and there are many RMs that don't have that luxury. We have the light industrial, highway, commercial property adjacent to the city. From a tax perspective, that certainly broadens the tax base for the RM. So it's good, and we want to keep increasing that, because everybody benefits when industry comes to PA. you know, we need to work with the partners that are involved with attracting business so that we're aware of what is coming, so that the RM of Prince Albert can have an opportunity to attract those businesses to the RM of PA. So I think, yeah, there's more we can do, and we can never do too much.
Thank you, Alan. Barton, you get the last response here.
Yeah, I think being located close to the city of Prince Albert, there's a good opportunity for the RM to benefit from having some businesses located in the RM. And I think tax incentives might be a good idea to try to attract some businesses to the RM. So it's and keeping the roads in good shape, because these businesses, they should have they like to have a good road coming into their business too. So if you have the roads good, there's a good chance that they might come to.
Hey, thank you, Barton. Last question here, gentlemen. It's an interesting one. It's a topic that's RM Council has been dealing with, talking about beaver control. Just want to get your stance on what a plan should be for controlling the beaver population in the RM. And this time we'll start with you, Colin.
Well, yeah, I know the beaver are a problem out where I live. I can see what the effects of beavers of the beavers in the area. There's trees that are falling on the field. There's certainly they're damming up waterways that should be flowing. And as far as the plan to control the beavers, possibly increase the bounty on them, I'm not sure what it is right now. I don't know at all what's in place as far as beaver control goes. But certainly it's something that we need to look at because the beaver, the population, their population needs to be controlled.
Thank you, Colin. Barton, we'll go to you next.
Yeah, there are quite a few beavers around, that's for sure. I know there is a bounty on the beavers right now. I think the RM pays half, $15 a tail, and I think SARM pays the other half, $15. They do collect, they have quite a few trappers that have been trapping the beavers and cutting their tails off, but I'm not sure if it's really working, because it seems like there seems to be more beaver than ever. So I'm not really sure what you can do about it, but and it depends what people kind of want to do, but I guess if the bounty continues, I guess that will kind of keep the beaver population in check somewhat. Okay,
thank you, Barton. Guy, we'll go to you next.
Are an issue, and it's getting worse all the time, and they're damaging trees, and they're watering up dams, and they're even on my property. We need to control them. They're a nuisance. Agree with bounties and incentives to control them or whatever. I agree with all that, and trap them. However, we can do an open deal on this or whatever to get it started, and have more trappers or something come out, or more bounty things. But they are a problem, and we can come to some kind of an agreement, a solution or whatever to help things out. Thank you.
Thank you, Guy. Alan, what's your position on this?
Well, I do believe it is a fairly large problem that's been growing over the past couple of years, and there are trappers that are available. There are people that take care of. I think maybe if we have be maybe good to be posting it on the RM webpage to try and stress, these are the people to contact if you have problem, and here are their numbers. Or maybe we could even start up a Facebook page, or there's different options we have to try and address this, but try and put the people in RM in contact with these people is the biggest issue right now, I think. Because who do you get? I guess you can go through the RM webpage and find the trappers, but it'd be nice to have a little more, somehow figure out how to post those numbers and everything so everyone can see them easily.
Great, thank you, Alan. Now, before we wrap things up, gentlemen, I'm going to give you each 1 minute to give your final comments and what you're about and your final appeal to the voters here, so to speak. So, Alan, I'm going to come back to you here first. 1 minute.
Okay, go ahead.
In closing, I would like to thank everyone for listening and considering me to be your representative and voice in Division 3. I will work with other councillors and the Reeve to make the RM of Prince Albert one of the safest and desired places to farm, run your business, and/or live. If you have any questions, you can find me on Facebook or contact me by email at abnovotny@sasktel.net. That's abnovotny@sasktel.net. Come out and vote for me this Saturday in advanced polls from 10 to 3 or Monday, November 9th from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at the RM office at 99 River Street East. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, Colin, you're up next.
I just want to, I've been doing some campaigning, and certainly there seems to be a lot of support out there, and I want to thank those supporters. I come with experience from before, so I have an awareness of what goes on with the RM, and being a councillor and working on the different committees associated with the RM. And I just ask for everyone's support on at the advanced poll on October 31st and the election on November 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Barton, our third response.
I'd like to thank everybody in my division for supporting me as being, and I say I kind of keep taxes in line so that people don't spend so much money. People, if we can job and keep taxes down and keep the roads in good shape, and so people have access to their fields. And I'd like to
Thank you, Barton. All the best to you. And lastly, Guy, your comments.
I'm a hardworking and hope my resume as a correctional worker and business owner and a farmer will demonstrate my willingness to work on behalf of the ratepayers. I want to bring forward any issues and concerns with different prospects and needs to, and we need to spend money appropriately, maintain and upgrade infrastructures while holding people accountable for integrity and respect. Come out and vote for me, and I need your voice. Your voices have to be heard. See you on the 9th of November. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Well, gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our forum. I just want to thank all of you for joining me tonight and giving me some of your time. On behalf of the Prince Albert District Chamber of Commerce, just want to wish you guys all the best in the next couple of weeks. Also want to thank all the viewers who tuned in tonight, I should say, and submitted their questions. Thank you for those. Some of them are very interesting. Again, please remember to subscribe to the Chamber of Commerce YouTube channel, as well as like and share their Facebook page. We hope that tuning in virtually to hear your candidates was a good experience for everybody. And thank you. Hope you've been providing some good information and insight as well. Don't forget November 9th, Election Day, and advanced polls open up this weekend. Thank you and good night.